Hey guys, it's Dr. Shah and welcome back to my channel. So let's just get right into it. This is going to be the first video that we will be tackling the do category. If you guys have been watching along, we wrapped up be, now we're going to move on to do, and then we will be moving on to have. If you haven't watched the previous videos, I do strongly recommend that you go ahead and watch the previous videos. You can really watch them in whatever order that you would like. However, I do think that you'll get the most benefit from this entire series if you do watch them in the order that they've been uploaded. So if you haven't seen the previous ones, we'll wait right here for you. Just go ahead and get caught up and we'll meet you back here. And for those of you that haven't caught up, let's just get right into it. So we wrapped up the B section. We talked about imposter syndrome and we talked about confidence and how to use visualization as a technique to be more confident in life and therefore during your interviews. Now we're going to move on to the do category. Just a refresher. Now that we have changed up our mindset and we have aligned our goals, we have to move on to taking action and doing the steps that we need to do in order to get closer to where we want to go. This video is going to be all about preparation. Preparation, no matter what field you are in, no matter what you're doing, preparation is key. If you fail to prepare, you should prepare to fail. That is something that I truly believe, perhaps a little bit too much, but I really do believe in preparation, and that's exactly what we will be talking about in this video. I will be also including a downloadable template, and you can find it in the description box, and you can use that template. I personally use that template whenever I wanted to organize information when I was applying to programs and preparing for interviews. I feel like it's a very quick and efficient way to keep everything straight. There's a lot of information being hit at you all the time, and it's good to just keep everything straight, and also a good way for you to post-interview when you're trying to create your rank list, have a more holistic image in mind when comparing the different programs that you have interviews at. So basically, I'm going to be taking you along in this video, and we will be analyzing my own program's website because I think it's a really good website and a good way for you to really just gather all the information. And I'm just going to be giving you all my insider tips and tricks, and I hope that it's helpful for you. All right, so let's get right into it. All right, so I've already typed it into Google, ECU Rural Family Medicine Residency Program. So as you can see, I've already looked into it a little bit while I was preparing for this video. So essentially, just look on Google, look at all the stuff that we have there. Okay, there's a lot of information out here. We got a lot of related searches. We have a lot of content that we can work with. Okay, so we got the LinkedIn, we got basically everything. All right, so let's start with the simplest place to go, and that is the program's website. All right, so I'm gonna click on the ECU standard track just because generally the rural residency and the standard track are sister programs, and you will see like the information for both. And there's a lot of overlap as well. All right, so we're gonna start with the rural track because that is my program. All right, so first things first, you need to get contact information. So we have the residency program coordinator email. So we're gonna put that in the contact information page, section, sorry. And then program director information as well. So we've got that ready for us to go. If we have any more questions, we can just and reach out to them. Okay. Next thing we're going to talk about is location. And this is very important because on the interview trail, it's very clear that people sometimes have not necessarily looked at where our program is, and they ask questions that are not great questions. So avoid putting yourself in that position and prepare effectively. All right, so over here, we're in the eastern third, known as the coastal plain. So that's where we are, and it's predominantly rural. So over here, we could say, okay, major population center, Greenville's of East Carolina, blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. So over here, the main thing we have to know is that it's in the eastern third of North Carolina. So let's copy and put that over here. Okay, whatever. And over here, okay, yeah, again, Eastern North Carolina. So this is where we're located. We're located primarily in Eastern North Carolina. Actually, entirely in Eastern North Carolina. I don't know why I said primary. Okay, so what is the population? So we'll get to that. But over here, let's see, we're gonna be training most of the training occurs at ECU Health Medical Center. So let's make a note of that so we know that if we have to look anything up, we can make sure to look into that. So we can put that in our main medical centers, ECU Health Medical Center. So clearly the program thought it was important to mention that it was a level 1 trauma center. So we want to make sure that we include that in our notes as well. So we write level 1 trauma center. All right. So they serve a crap ton of people. There's a lot of counties involved. Okay, it's affiliated with Brody School of Medicine. All right, so we know which medical school our program is affiliated with. This tells us a lot of information because you can kind of tell what kind of resources will be available to you based on the school and whatever resources the school has. We look over here, see that the school was founded nearly 40 years ago to train primary care physicians. If you're interested in primary care, this is obviously the place you want to be because the whole mission of the program is shared by the medical school and it's a priority. Okay, so we talk about how there's a solid commitment to primary care and there's cutting edge academic medical resources with the unique challenges and opportunities of rural community-based clinical training at FQHC centers and rural community teaching hospitals. So that tells us we're gonna have access to academic medical resources, but our training will primarily take place at rural community teaching hospitals and other FQHCs. All right, so we can write over here, we don't necessarily need to write that because if we can write it, okay, let's just write it. Main medical centers, so it seems like ECU Health Medical Center, that would be the main one. And then rural community hospitals, rural community clinics, FQHC. All right, so now we move on. So over here, ooh, went too far. Okay, so it's clear that our program has 2 sites so far. Okay, so let's make a note of that, all right? Because again, sometimes we have questions that can very likely can be avoided if you just read the page. So over here, we have the Ahoskie site and we have the Duplin site, all right. So the 2 main training, okay, this is predominantly rural. And then training sites, let's say Ahoskie and Duplin. So those are our 2 main sites that we have information about based on this website. All right, so this seems like the next paragraph is going to talk about Ahoskie. So the next thing you want to do is like, okay, we're going to be spending the majority of the first year of training at ECU Health Medical Center, mostly for inpatient. So this seems like intern year is going to be at ECU Health Medical Center. And then Ahoskie, it seems like the 2nd and 3rd years going to be at your rural site. Okay, so we got that. So now Ahoskie. So Ahoskie, the 2 hospitals that are affiliated with it is that you have the Community Health Center. So we can make a note of that. So fun fact, it's no longer Vidant Roanoke Chowan Hospital, it's ECU Health Roanoke Chowan Hospital, but whatever, it's on the website, so we're just gonna use what we have. All right, so we have a community of 1,500 people. So we're gonna write the next thing. Sorry, can't speak. We have a community of 4,500 people. So let's make a note of that, okay? So 4,500 people. And this gives us an idea. It's approximately 1 hour drive north of Greenville and a 1 hour drive north of Norfolk. So Ahoskie, 1 hour drive from Greenville, North Carolina, and 1 hour from Norfolk, Virginia. Boop. All right, so we got that. So this tells us a little bit about it. All right, so our continuity clinic. So now this is important to know. So this is the health center. This is where the ambulatory clinic will be, okay? So that's important to know. And then the community hospital, which it seems that because it's being mentioned on the website, we're going to also be having training that is located at the site. So it says 114 beds. All right. So we have that. Now we go to Duplin. All right. So we're going to do the same thing. We have medical center in Beulahville. So make a note of that. And then we have the ECU Health Duplin Hospital in Kenansville as well. And then because it seems like they have 2 sites, you want to make sure that you make a note of that. So we have Beulahville being 1,300 people and Kenansville about 900 people. So that's also important to know. We want to know the size of our communities that we're going to be in. So they are 1 hour drive south of Greenville. 1 hour drive south of Greenville and 45-minute drive from Wilmington, Carolina. All right. I personally just like seeing numbers, so that's why I'm getting rid of the letters and stuff. Okay, so we have our information, we have geographic idea, we have the training sites, we have the number of people in each region, and then we have an idea of where it's located. So over here, this is important to know, this is 81 beds. So let's make a note of that. 81 bed hospital. All right, so this is, and then the continuity clinic is gonna be at Goshen Medical Center. So let's just make a note of that. All right. Okay, so, all right. Okay, cool. Extraordinarily well prepared, fantastic. We have great clinical educators. There's 32 physician faculty, fantastic. Great, we have faculty, fantastic. Yada. So we gained the most important information. Again, here's the contact information right here. If you want to know about our diversity and inclusion, this is all the information for you. Clearly, we support it. We have a lot of publications surrounding it, which is fantastic. So then let's go to the curriculum. Okay, so we're just going to go past the standard track because we're focused on the rural residency program. So over here, it seems like I would include, okay, so now we're going to talk about training. So let's talk about intern year. So what's our intern year going to look like? There are 13 blocks that make up of a 4-week period of time. Okay, so we got that. So we know what our structure is going to look like. Intern year will be spent at ECU Health Medical Center in Greenville. So we got that. All right, so we know it's a large tertiary academic medical center. All right. And then only level 1 trauma center in the region. So we have that. Okay, there's a lot of, we can see that based on this information because this is the main hospital and the only trauma center in such a large community. We're going to see a lot of different advanced and rare pathology. Okay, fantastic. There's a lot of family medicine resources. So this is excellent, as well as non-family medicine specialists and subspecialists. Excellent. Okay. So basically, it seems like the goal of intern year is to expose rural residents to a crap ton of pathology and acuity in areas that have a crap ton of resources. Okay. So over here, we also have that the rotations will have 2 blocks of exclusive outpatient experience. So we're saying we're going to have essentially 8 weeks outpatient in the rural community. So in the rural community clinic, depending on whichever clinic that, depending on whichever site that you're going to be at. Sorry, this is my OCD coming through. All right, so here we have this, and we also have weeks like didactics that, I would say rather general training information. We have, because didactics is not just intern year, that's throughout residency. You have these weekly sessions that you have to go on every Thursday afternoon. Okay, so we have workshops and we have simulations. Okay, so workshops and simulation labs. So see, like when you're doing this, you're like, okay, well, this is an interesting question that I could possibly ask. Like, and then you want to maybe highlight it, be like, okay, workshop and simulation labs. Maybe you can ask a little bit more about that information. All right, now moving on. We're also going to be having a block of skills and procedures clinic. So like I said, our website's really, really good. You have like excellent information on here. So we have skills and procedures clinic. You can ask so he said outpatient procedures, and you can see all the different procedures that we're going to get experience on. All right, so then it says over here, you have inpatient service, inpatient 4 blocks. Okay, so we learn from our own faculty. So family medicine inpatient service. So we know that this program has its own service. So there are some programs that don't have their own service, and then you are going along with internal medicine or the hospitalist service. But for us, we actually have our own service, and family medicine admits to the family medicine service. So that's important information to know. So you want to write that down. So we have our own service. All right. So ranging from, and then the acuity ranges from OBS straight to the intermediate unit. So we have that. So we know what kind of acuity we're looking at this hospital and what kind of things our service typically manages. All right. So, and then over here, which is a little unique if you compare it to the standard track, it says that our fourth block is where we will be acting senior block. Okay. So the reason for this, as you can see, is that you want to become comfortable and proficient at leading a team, because when you are sent to the rural sites and working in the rural community centers in your second and third years, you want to make sure that you have enough knowledge under your belt that you're able to successfully do so. However, you don't want to be just thrown to the wolves, or, rather, we don't want to just throw you to the wolves. So you're going to be acting senior in your fourth block so that you have that kind of support system available to you. All right. So we have that, and then essentially you can just go through that. We have surgical and obstetric block. We have a lot of independence. Great. Also, we're going to be spending 1 month in MICU. So fantastic. Again, you can start making notes on this. If we go through every single thing, this video is going to be super duper long. So you can make notes on whatever you think is pertinent, but we'll just go through the website and I can just keep pointing things out and then write down things that you absolutely should take note of. So over here it said after the first year, you are in the rural ambulatory setting. And then the point of that is that you want to have lots of opportunities to experience and practice medicine in rural and unopposed training. So this is really important. It's important to know that second, third year, rural, unopposed. So what this means for people who may not know, unopposed means that there are no other specialties that are present at the hospital. And essentially what that translates to is that you get a lot of autonomy. So you want to make note of that, because that is different from intern year, because the intern year is opposed. The reason is because at the main site, there are a lot of other residency programs that are also present. So the ability to do as many procedures, you have greater opportunity. While you do have opportunity, you have greater opportunity to do procedures and things like that second and third year at the rural site, because there's no one else that is essentially there, no other learners that are essentially there that you would have to distribute equitable manner. All right, so that's important. And also we know that we're gonna have resource access challenges. So we can see that the program tries to set you up and make sure that you're learning all the foundational information in a place where there are a multitude of resources before throwing you to an area that has resource access challenges. So when you see this, make sure you make note that there are going to be resource access challenges. This is important to be aware of, because then you know what you're getting yourself into, and you can make sure that if you wanted to, you can highlight this and bring it up during your questions and ask more specifically what that looks like. All right, so we have over here rural outpatient pediatric clinic. Okay, it's just going through the curriculum. You can write as little or as much as you would like regarding the curriculum. In general, a lot of family medicine curriculums, well, all family medicine curriculums, they have to adhere to the ACGME criteria, while there are some differences from program to program, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. All programs have to meet the same criteria. So your program will have to adhere to those criteria. So this tells us a little bit more about the curriculum. Okay, fantastic. This tells us a bit more about what blocks and rotations are available. You can make a note of that in your sheet as you wish. We have elective time. That's fantastic. It tells us what we're going to do third year. Okay, that's fine. Fantastic. Again, conferences, which is the didactics, they happen Thursday afternoons. Great. We learn core topics and grand rounds. Essentially, you do a lot of learning. All right, now this tells us about procedures. procedure clinics. If you would like, you can ask a little bit more information about that. This is important information if you're interested in pursuing a fellowship. It's helpful to know what fellowships are present at this program that you're interested in, so that you want to make sure that your interests and the program's interests align. So let's make note of that. So we'll copy and paste that. I guess let's put this above fellowship. All right, so sports medicine and geriatrics, clearly, it seems that a lot of individuals, residents from this program go on to pursue one of these two fellowships. So that's important to know. Let's go back. All right, rotations. All right, so this is a breakdown of the rotations that we were reading about. This is the standard track. Let's zoom down to the rural track. All right, so this provides us a little bit more information, and this is a perfect example about how each program truly is unique. So you can see that this is first year in the rural site. This is the outpatient portion. You can see that there's a lot more inpatient, so you can expect intern year here to be very inpatient heavy. You can scroll up and compare with the standard track. Relatively speaking, it's about the same with some differences. They have a few, like they have 3 blocks of inpatient. We have 4. They have cardiology. We do not do cardiology inpatient. Very minor differences, but if you were interested in knowing the true differences, you can review that. And then again, same thing with second year, you have the inpatient, outpatient. Third year, outpatient, inpatient. You can see that the second and third years are very much outpatient focused. So if you're interested in doing outpatient primary care, it's clear that this program will prepare you very, very well. All right, so how to apply. I guess you already know that because you got the interview, so we don't need to go over that. Residents. So let's see. Let's go to rural program track residents. Here we are. That's us. So you can see what medical school we went to. Based on that, you can see, okay, where do a lot of these residents come from in terms of their educational background. So that's interesting information. Do what you want with that. All right, so you can click on the life, resident life, learn more about that. What does Ahoskie have over here? Beulahville, more information. That's always fantastic. And now my favorite part, social media. So what you want to do is that you want to go to the program the Instagram page. Okay, so we see over here that this is the rural, the ECU site, which is great too. So we can see that it seems that they're sisters programs. So we can take a look and be like, all right, this seems like a fun group of folks, but let's try to find the rural, okay, let's just close this out. You know what, a better way to do it is that we've covered the information on the program website anyways. Now we're gonna do a little bit more deep diving. All right, so ECU rural family medicine residency. All right, so we go back here. Okay, and no, this is the rural this is the family medicine. Again, they have a Facebook page. We have a YouTube channel. I mean, sorry, we don't have a YouTube channel. We have some videos up. So that's interesting. Primary care opportunities. So let's see. Instagram. Okay, so we have our website over here. Okay, interesting. Let's just ignore that. These seem like a fun group of people. We can see that they like to do virtual socials, and there's some resident spotlights. They like to celebrate birthdays. They go to football games. I think this is like a great way to get to know what a program's like in terms of their leadership, their residents, what kind of things they like to do on their spare time. So let's click on this. Okay, so residency wars. All right. So I think this is a good way. Let's try to find some more information. All right, so let's click on this. Okay, so they have a great video. So that's interesting. You can look up that. You can watch the rest of that. And then if you have any questions, let's see what's in the news. All right. So we have over here, Okay, so we have some information about federal support, impact of rural doctors, and rural healthcare. So you could go through all the news about the program or anything affiliated with the program. It's pretty important if the dean of the school and the ECU Health CEO is talking about rural healthcare. You can see that this is a priority. So again, great information. So, all right, so we can write any of these unique features on social media presence. You want to write what kinds of things stuck out to you. Now this is really important. Now let's focus on this. Let's say you've gone through and done all your deep dive research. What you want to go do is go back and highlight the things that you are, oh, actually one more thing. I want to go to the maps. All right. So what you may want to do is that you look at, let's not look at that. You look at what's around here, you look around, okay, we see what we're looking at, we see, okay, we got a Walgreens, we got some art stuff, we got a Zaxby, Lowe's, okay, there's like a lot of resources. All right, so now let's type in a Husky, North Carolina. You wanna go to the town website and learn as much as you can about the town. You want to see a Husky. You see Hertford County in 2010, it was like 5,000 people. Now we're zooming in, and this is what we've got. We've had some interviewees ask questions about things that are in the area, and this is a good way to see like what kind of area are we looking at? What kinds of things are available? Let's do the same thing. So we could see that in a Husky, it truly is resource limited. Now you want to zoom out and have an idea about where everything is. All right, Gatesville. Yeah, we take a look and see where everything is. Okay, now let's do the same to Duplin. See that this is Duplin, this is where it is, close to Emerald. This is where Ahoskie is, Durham, Raleigh, which are like the closest big towns. So you can see this is what we're looking at. Let's zoom in a little bit further. You can really see there's a lot of things that are spread out and not much of anything really, hence rural. So another thing is you look at Duplin and see, you can learn more about the area. What is it known for? What kinds of things are there? Do the Wikipedia page and just get an idea. You get an idea of what kinds of things are available within that area. And then that way you really know like, hey, do I actually want to go here? And you can include that information in the unique features. You would want to, let's say a Husky, look at the maps, look at the city website, look at the main attractions, and what are your thoughts on it? So a Husky and Duplin. Look at the web, yeah, so we could see all that and really try to see, hey, can I really see myself living here? Now, what you want to do is go through all the information on your sheet over here and then highlight things that you actually have pertinent questions on. That way, the interviewer is going to be really impressed that you actually did your research. And bonus points if you say, hey, I saw on your social media that you guys do XYZ, or hey, I saw that you're in the news for yada, yada, yada. It gives a good impression. You can take this a one step further and try to learn a little bit more about the special interests of the program director or of the residents that are present at the program at the time. And if I did that, this video would be going on and on forever. And you can truly just do your research as deeply as you would like, depending on your time constraints and degree of interest. If it's a program that you're really, really interested in, it's great to know that program and people in it as well as you possibly can. And it really makes a difference. You'd be surprised how many people show up at an interview and it's very clear that they haven't even read our website. It's very clear that they have no idea how large, or rather how small, a Husky and Duplin and our upcoming training site is, and they ask questions that are reflective of that. And so when you see that, it gives us the impression that you're not very interested in the setting and the education that you will get from being at our hospital. And likewise, that's the case for everyone. If you're applying to, let's say, a city or like an more urban area, and you don't know what kinds of things are around, or like if you're interested in perhaps more outdoor activities and the city's program that you're at doesn't offer that, and you go on and on and on and talk about things that are incongruous with the area that you're in, it kind of gives the impression that, number one, you didn't get the assignment. And number two, you didn't read up on the things that you were supposed to read up on, probably not a good fit, and will very likely lead you to kind of rank a little bit lower than perhaps you ideally would like. And see, sometimes it could just be so innocent and you may just not realize, even though you're very, very interested in the program, but you want to put yourself in the program's mindset. The program wants to make sure that they find the right fit. You want to have people at your program that fit culturally and that actually want to be there. And that's what you want to convey during your interview. This was a pretty long video. I really hope that you guys found this to be very, very useful. I know that it's very time consuming, but matching into the program of your choice is truly one of the most life-changing things that can happen for you. And why wouldn't you want to optimize your chances of matching at a program that you wish to match to? And I really hope this helps you, and I'll catch y'all in the next one. In the next video, we will be going through how to answer commonly asked interview questions. In the next video, I will also be including a template so you can practice as well. All right, well, see you. Bye.